Initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5,
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2, 1. Mark.
Welcome back to the Resupply with me, Guy Next Door.
Me, DK.
And me, Van.
Bringing you your weekly double tap of all things Space Marines and Laserforce. Yeah, weekly. Weekly I use very...
Loosely.
Yeah, that's the one we want to go with. Hello, hello, gentlemen. It's very nice to see you. Hello to you, chat. Very nice to see you guys. Hope you're doing good. Lights. So these two guys both subscribing today. 29 months, 21 months. Give us them Bezos. I'm a bit quiet. How about now? Move the mic closer. How you guys sound? Do you guys sound good?
I think I sound amazing, but you know,
so.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I sound amazing, but that has nothing to do with the microphone.
Okay, also true.
Okay.
You know how painful it is to be in a field where you have to regularly watch yourself back on video? It's terrible.
I just do it for fun.
You bloody narcissist.
Yeah, I'm terrible. Twitch has made me real bad too, but that's okay. Tough competition today. Soon to be new Prime Minister's doing a live presser right now. This is a place where you can come to escape from all that shenanigans.
Like, we have far more important announcements.
Yeah.
Do we though?
Sure, why not? We're going to talk about how I've got sore feet and how you guys went and played a children's game for a week. But before we get into that, well, no, it is what it is. How you guys doing? You have a good week this week?
I had an awesome week.
That's good.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oof.
Yeah, it felt good to actually play some lasers for the first time in almost a year.
I got to see that guy in person, in the flesh.
That guy.
Wait, is it that guy? Wait.
Yeah,
I can never remember which way our cameras go. Yes, I had lunch with the fan, not the fan.
With our one fan. So yeah, we'll talk about your guys' week in a minute, but I figure we'll start off with some housekeeping, because obviously there's some stuff coming up this year. This year is packed full of laser tag adventures, which makes me very, very happy to say, because it's been a couple years, especially for the majority of the Southern Hemisphere players. We haven't had a lot going on, so it's nice to have some stuff on the horizon. But yeah, we've got a couple of competitions coming up. One to kind of cover both hemispheres, which is nice. Coming up March 6th to March 8th, there's a Space Marines Duos tournament held in Loveland, Colorado.
An event that was totally not ripped off by the Auckland Triple Threat.
Not even a little bit. Nope.
The more that these things happen, I think the better it is for for keeping our scene fresh, for getting people to go to these things, because and
it's cool to try different formats, honestly, because it's like you learn different things and you can experience things slightly differently. It kind of feels a little bit like still competitive, but a little bit lower stakes than say like a nationals or maybe even like a West Coast, but it's still like good fun and good competition
for sure. And like there's so many times, and we talked about it before, we talked about it all through the build up to the Triple Threat, but there's so many times that we don't often get to play Laser Force with most of the people in the community, so it's really nice to be able to play highly competitive Space Marines with people that we've known for 5
years,
10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years at this point.
In some cases close to.
Yeah. Playing with
I had to think about that for a second. It's like, oh fuck.
What's up, Jay?
Yeah.
You're right, Stallion. Like, playing with different people is the highlight. It's awesome. Playing those high level games. It's like it's kind of like having a members night, but with no beginners, or with very small number of rookie players, which is kind of refreshing. Not that I don't think that rookie players should play, because I absolutely think that newer players should be brought in to the fold as quickly as possible. but it's also nice to be able to play with your peers who are around equal level, give or take.
Yeah, I was gonna say something to that effect when we talk about the week that we just had, that playing in those really intense high level games where it's like everybody's been playing for years, or everybody has multiple nats under their belt or things like that. Those are the things that really like energize me, get my blood moving, and I'm like, this is like where the real kind of like edge sharpening happens.
Oh, for sure. Well, we'll get into it in a minute. If you're not somewhere around America, I'm trying to figure out mountain. What zone is that? What area? Mountain. Okay, if you're not somewhere around the mountain region in North America, and you happen to be located closer to this, but even if you're not, saw your life out. We're having the laserforce Space Marines Internationals, which really is the flagship event of our scene. So if you are looking to play one event this year, play that one, because that's the one you want to play. But Internationals is happening 24th to 28th of July in Auckland, New Zealand. Because there's only one mountain in America.
In your defense, we were talking about mountain time zones.
Yeah.
not just if you live over by the mountain.
Yeah, the big one. Keep an eye out for the big mountain.
We're on a mountain, possibly a rocky mountain.
Possibly just adjacent to a rocky mountain.
It's got snow. You know that one? It's got some snow. Yeah, come to Nationals. If you're on the fence, come to that event. That's going to be a doozy. I can't wait for that one. I think
we've become sufficiently international. We should start like calling it like the Laserforce World Championships or something.
That's such an American thing to do. Actually, the American,
but it's not about America. It's like it actually is international.
Yeah.
People from like all over the world.
The American thing to do is to hold a states only competition and call it the World Championship. Series. Yeah, and it happens like in all of your major league sports. Which is
I don't know what happened there.
He's back.
Speaking of mountains, I think that was a lag spike.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah, it's okay. I was doing this yesterday. We used Twitch Guests, which we've been using now for a couple of weeks. We used Twitch Guests to do a stream over on the Blueston channel last night, and there was some issues. Hopefully it sorted shit out. I don't know. I did pack a loss or something. Something internet problems.
Come on, Twitch. Who are you, Roll20.net?
Are you using Firefox? Tisk. Yeah, so those are the two major competitions that are on the immediate horizon. You should go to both of them, but if you can't go to both of them, come to internationals. If you're only going to duos, and you're like, I can't go to internationals, so I go to duos. Not good enough. Come to internationals.
Steve will punch you in the face.
I will. I'll come over there because I've done it, and I'll throw a chair at you because apparently that's what I do.
Accurate.
But yeah, training has begun, gentlemen, for internationals. We're on the fit kick. I thought I'd bring out the guns today.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Guns.
Mostly because it's hot as balls here at the moment. Yeah, go to Nats. Exactly right, Odin. Exactly. Are you coming to Nats? I hope you're coming to Nats. It'd be nice to see you.
I have a good feeling.
It's not
a good feeling Odin will be there.
Yes, awesome. It's not rotating unless there's a montage. I did contemplate doing a fitness stream once a week, and having like point redemptions, like or whatever.
Do 10 push-ups now.
Yeah. But like. Again, Blueson did something similar. He did like a ring fit thing, or he did a fitness stream, and people just were like push-ups. So
yeah,
I might
like
die.
All these dickheads who make us drink water constantly.
Yeah. Why would you say that?
I'm just gonna get my water now.
I need to hide. Go ahead, I dare you, cowards.
In preparation for the hydrates. Ta-da!
Oh, here they come. What have you done? Go ahead.
I'm thirsty. Think this is anything? This is nothing to me.
I don't know why the
Glorious
lights
water.
change color. It's
What? Two hydrates? That's all you fuckers got? That's it?
How do I mute you both?
Well, like it's our fault you invented the stupidest hydrate button.
Well, I mean, it's there. It doesn't mean I dare you to push it.
It really sucks.
Now, given that most people in the community who've been watching for a little while have like upwards of 50,000 to 100,000 points, and a hydrate bot is like 300 points each. Play on fire there, boys.
No, we're playing with water, bitch.
Hey, this is the era of inflation. I think you need to raise the point values.
Yeah, I think I might need to. I need to get. I need to take Smalley's points, because Smalley's got like 170,000 points or something crazy.
That's gonna turn into a hostage situation come the next charity stream.
Keep burning your points on nukes. I wanna maybe introduce something that's ridiculously expensive to give people something to aim for. Maybe we'll implement the VIP thing. So if you want to be a VIP on the channel, it's going to cost you like 1 million points or something.
Careful, I saw that Pepsi Where's My Jet documentary.
I don't know what. Oh yeah, true. Yeah. So Leech sent me like earlier this morning. Simon in chat, he sent me a photo. He was like, "Oh, bro, I sorted out my gym at home," and he sent me a photo of it. Holy shit, it looks awesome. He's got like a treadmill, got a spin bike. He's got like a full-on squat rack that like folds down off the wall. Weights like bars. It's pretty mean in there. I think did you rubberize the floor, Si? It looked like there was like something in there. I don't know.
Probably put down some rubber mats or something.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like trying to do sit-ups in my garage, trying not to smash my face on my boxing bag. So.
That's just a different kind of workout.
To be fair, I can't.
Your headbutts.
Yeah, I can't get up that far. We're getting there, but yeah, slow incremental things at this point. You're able to get in shape for Nats. You let yourself go a bit last year due to health issues. 100% relate, Odin. I for a while I don't know if I've really talked about it on here, but. Since my dad passed away, and I hate to use this as like an excuse and shit, but like my dad passed away just before COVID and stuff, and I was pretty dark for a little while. And it's really hard to motivate yourself, into good practices. So I think when Dad got diagnosed, I think I had just come off the back of playing Brisbane Nats, and I got into decent shape for Brisbane Nats. I think I lost
better than decent
20 kilos or something. So I was feeling pretty good. I was on a good trajectory, and then stuff started happening. Yeah. Just it slowly all went away. And I think I had like a 45 kg swing since that point. Which is huge, that's almost as much as some of the people in our community weigh. So, it's a tough one, but it's good to have stuff to look forward to help motivate and get you back in a positive frame of mind. And, it's just little steps,
Yeah. You have to take the little steps to get to the big steps. And as dumb and cliche as that sounds, it's like you can't, if you're looking at like the end state goal, always is like, oh, that's so far away, I can't do that. It's like, no, let's make it into small little step goals and keep chalking away at that, and then eventually you're like, oh, I'm here. How did I get here? Sweet.
I think a big thing for me is getting like impatient with so like again, the last time I did it, I dropped the weight really quick, so it was very easy to see progress because the progress was coming in. I was dropping like 1 to 2 kgs a week, but it was really unhealthy. It was an unhealthy way to do it, and I didn't mean for it to happen that way. It's just how it happened. So yeah,
we usually don't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like on that note, I kind of had this little thing that I wanted to say anyway, but this is a good segue to it. Is just when I or we, but I'm speaking mostly for myself here, are talking about health and fitness and athleticism and where it relates to laser tag and things like that, I'm trying to be more intentional in my language, that this isn't about like fat shaming anybody or stuff like that, because it's something I've come to realize about myself and just the environment I've been raised in. I have a ton of internalized fat phobia, and like it's hard to break, but I'm trying to break it. And there's nothing to say that, you know, you can't be a bigger bodied individual and play laser tag, be very good at laser tag, or be in good health. But, you know, it's about your outcomes, your happiness, your level of fitness, and what your goals are. Because your goal doesn't have to be, I want to weigh X number of kilos or something like that. But it's, you know, do I want to be able to run faster? Do I want to be able to run for longer distances? Do I want to be able to be quicker in this way? Do I want to, you know, improve this or that about my health, like take pressure off my knees? So like, I want to be focused on like, what are the positive aspects just for your health generally, versus, you know, making some kind of character judgment about somebody's weight, because that's a negative thing about our society. But I know that that's like, it's in there, and I'm trying to push it back out.
Sort of plays heavy, problem solved. Yeah, and it does, like, so for me personally, knowing how I perform when I am 40 kilos lighter than I am now compared to how I currently am, poor. It's night and day, the difference, because you basically go from like not having to worry about making it up a ramp, or catching your breath back after an attack run, or, you know, getting back to the resupply. Shut up, phone. Yeah,
Rookie.
or I literally just put it on silent. The hell?
Obviously not.
I don't even know
fucking
what
with you.
made that sound. But yeah, it's not having to worry about these seemingly innocuous things during a game makes a huge difference to your gameplay. If you want to play Auckland, you need to start practicing running up and down hills. Pretty much everyone in Loveland will be fine with our ramps.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Probably Detroit too. If there's anyone coming from Detroit, our ramps are that one long ramp is a doozy, but it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Still probably gonna run up some hills.
Probably a good idea, just in general. But yeah, so we're on that vibe. I've, you know, recently, within the last year, I started playing disc golf, as most of you know, as a reason to, one, catch up with my family on a more regular basis, because we have our Battle of the Cousins tournaments a couple times a year, and just literally played one last week, which was excellent. But also, yeah, to have a reason to go out and just get the body moving, because when you get to a point where you are way too heavy, your joints, your body it starts to feel like it's breaking down. Shoulder pain, back pain, ankles, shins, knees, all this stuff just everything's harder. So yeah, we're on the road,
And it'll be even worse once you're Than's age.
Well, I've got another 30 years to worry about that. So
Fuck both of you. Jesus fucking Christ. Hate you both.
Such an unnecessary
assholes.
drive-by.
so unnecessary.
Not even like a drive-by. That's like driving straight at someone and still firing.
Running him down with the car.
Asshole.
Yeah, fun fact, it's almost impossible to do training run in Wellington without running up hills. Yeah, Auckland's kind of the same. Suck at Christchurch with your no hills. Some hills. But yeah, I went out last week. I went away as well. We'll talk about your guys' trip in a minute because it's more relevant. But I went down to the Manawatu, which is down near Palmerston North, my place of birth, and played in another Battle of the Cousins disc golf tournament. Didn't come last, which was one of my goals, was to at least not come last in the competition. Managed to do that.
Out of how many people?
There was my division, must have been 30 30 people, maybe more, 40 maybe. There was about 70 at the event over the weekend. They had a men's open, they had a men's amateur, which was what I was in, and then they had a female division. So about 70 people across those 3 divisions. It was such a good time, but I ended up walking about 40 to 45 kilometers over the 3 days that I was down there. Which,
That's a bit.
Yeah, it was quite a bit, and I've sort of kept that up and gone out and done more walking every day, to kind of capitalize on already being sore from walking that kind of distance. So, shins are killing me though. Fucking shin splints, it's brutal. But yeah, it was a bunch of fun. Felt really good about, mostly good about how I played and stuff. But yeah, brutal weekend, but great weekend. But let's put that in a nice little box. Put it to the side over here. What if your sprints are short? That's a great joke.
Because she's small.
Oh,
yes.
Man, you ruined it. It was so nice.
No.
You ruined it.
Nah, it's fine.
That's
what I do. I ruin things.
What did you guys get up to? What have you been up to this week?
Well, I mean, there was this little random 2-day members night thing in Loveland that both of us flew to do, which was, I mean, it was all right, I guess, if you like playing lasers with, other like-minded people, and actually get to play like just a bunch of SM5 over the course of 2 days. I guess it was cool if you like that sort of thing.
It's pretty damn good.
Anyone around here that likes that sort of thing?
No, it was good. It was good fun.
Well, so
how did that
all
the first time I played in like a year.
How did that all come to be? Because all of a sudden there was seemingly a West Coast tournament on.
Yeah, it kind of gravitated in that direction because I think it just kind of started as a couple messenger chats that went out, and this was like not that long ago. It was probably in mid to late December, where it's just like, huh? Hey, do you want to go to Loveland sometime? Okay, when? Aren't they having to do his event in March? And it's like, oh yeah, maybe we could go in January, like a couple weeks after New Year's. And somebody's like, oh yeah, I'd be down to go then. Or oh yeah, flights are cheap that week. Until all of a sudden there were like 9 or 10 people who were messaging you that are being like, hey, do you want to go to Loveland this set of dates? And then talk to Luke and Tucker. And all of a sudden they're just like, yeah, sure, come on out. And then people started buying plane tickets because we're all insane and just
addicted. I think addicted is the word that you're looking for there.
Well, given that many people are so flushed with cash, they can just go on a plane trip on a whim. That bodes real well for nationals this year.
One would hope, yes.
But yeah, okay. So how many people went with you guys? Because initially I was like, I think I heard DK, you were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Loveland, and then Tham was like, oh, I was thinking about going anyway, so I'll come too. And then all of a sudden there was like a bunch more people were on board.
Yeah,
like
12, that's just kind of how it happens sometimes.
It was like 12 or 14 people from not Loveland.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I want to say it was 12 or 13 out of towners who showed up because we had, 6 if you count Fan as a SAC person. We had 6 people from SAC or Portland.
Literally the West Coast, right?
Yeah, Kodama came out from SoCal. A few of the Utah folks came out. Snuffles, Caleb, Sadie. Yeah, Cody came out from Miami. That was like the other random part. I was like, oh crap! It's not just West Coast people because yeah, Cody also doesn't get to play laser tag where he is, but he also gets to live in Miami. So you take.
I thought Miami was like a terrible place.
I mean, it is in Florida, so
yeah,
that has its
own. Well, there's Miami, and then there's Florida.
Yeah, right.
And then there's the Panhandle.
So Florida's like, what, the America's toilet or something? If I heard that right, sorry, Florida, if I've just offended everyone in that state, but whatever. I don't know.
They are not capable of being offended because they've proven time and time again they're utterly shameless. So
correct.
Take all the shots you want. It's fine.
Yeah.
Jello shots. Yeah, right on. So that's awesome. So what did you guys just play a bunch of Space Marines? Did you play anything else?
there
There
are
might
other
have been a
games.
there might have been a couple other random games, but no, I did not play anything other than Space Marines. The
Yeah.
only real difference is that on the first day, we had to split sometime with the public, so we were only able to play 10-minute games for the first few hours that we were there. But then we had a good chunk of like probably 3 or 4 hours toward the end of the night where we played all 15-minute games. We still got in heaps of what I would consider proper Space Marines because the 10-minute games they do not feel right. They just don't feel right.
You're building, and then it's over.
Yeah, there's no end game state. It's like you can get elims, but it's usually in lopsided games. And oh boy, the matchmaker they shit the bed a couple of times and made some real lopsided games.
It does that.
The ones where we mostly Tucker, but I broke a few of the team games down too. Those seem to go much better, where they were kind of balanced in between people who were able to figure out some of the nuances that maybe the matchmaker doesn't take into account.
I get told a lot at home. Kia ora, Jen, from the Kai Caf. Hey. I get told a lot here that the randomizer is terrible and should never be used. The way I look at it is that you take the good with the bad, right? Like, it for the most part, it does a decent job, but obviously it's not going to hit it every single time.
It does produce some interesting situations that I think that you might not otherwise think to try, and produces some games that are more balanced than would otherwise appear on paper. At least it gives you a kind of additional, not perspective, because it doesn't have a perspective, it's not a person, but another algorithm for breaking things down as to what constitutes a kind of balance or match made. Because it's easy as a person to fall into biases of thinking, especially that like, oh yeah, these players are at this tier, until that becomes crystallized in your mind, and you might actually not realize that they have improved or some other player has overshot them or something like that. So I think it's another tool in the arsenal that should be used. I know we didn't have it very long in SAC, obviously, since we've been closed for coming up on 4 years now.
Fuck.
But I would a lot of times break some games initially, but I'd try to start throwing in maybe 2, 3, 4 matchmaker games a night, just so that it was something different. It was some kind of different input that was going in there, so we didn't fall into that kind of stagnant, just, okay, well, we know who matches who and what the breaks are, and let's just play what we usually play.
It's interesting the way that it can kind of like it'll put like the top tier player as the commander, and then it'll put maybe like a brand new player or one of the lowest ranked players as the heavy, and it's interesting to see how it balances that on the other team. So it'll kind of do the same thing there, which when you look at it on paper, you can sort of get a little like, oh, these teams are terrible, we're gonna get smashed, and then you find that the game kind of is still pretty even.
You get surprised sometimes,
yeah, which is cool, like a cool way to do it. Like it gives those maybe lower ranked players a good opportunity to test themselves, or to kind of sharpen their skills against a really strong attacking player. And then it also sort of usually makes the resupply have to pick up some of the slack, and maybe the scout has to pick up some of the slack, where the newer player playing heavy, might falter.
Well, that's also important long term for stimulating growth in somebody's skill level and stuff like that as well, because I've said it probably a dozen times just on this podcast that you don't get better playing players of the same caliber or weaker than you. You get better by playing better players and challenging yourself to try to rise up to their level.
Yeah, and that's not to say that maybe like players' effect on a game doesn't fluctuate. So by that,
no, certainly not.
Yeah. But yeah, like as a general rule, over like a long time period, yeah, you certainly get much better playing better players. That's that whole iron sharpens iron thing, right?
Yeah. And it's not to say that you can't make other kinds of adjustments or improvements just from doing something as simple as thinking about the game as You know, some of us do 4 or 5 hours a day. It's normal. Shut up.
Hang on, I've got a spreadsheet. Let me just open that real quick.
But you know, until you're in the pressure cooker and it's like, oh, I've never seen somebody make this move before. That's really interesting. I need to find a way to incorporate that. How are they making that shot in that place? How are they getting to this angle? You know, what is this little trick that these two players use together? So all kinds of different things that it's like, just like you said, sharpen those competitive edges, because it's in competitive situations and tournament situations, it's like evolve or die.
Yeah. Funny anecdote from my weekend. So I was with the cousins. When I'm with the cousins, we tend to talk a lot of shit. Especially when the drinks come out, a lot of whiskey gets consumed, a bunch of sake gets consumed, a lot of cans of beverages. Anyway, I know the pecking order when it comes to disc golf. Like I'm at the bottom of the pecking order. That's where I am at compared to my cousins. But we were talking about laser tag, and one of my cousins was like, "Yeah, we'll come up, we'll play again. I'm gonna waste you at laser tag." And as soon as he said it, like fucking fire in me just ignited, and I was like, "No fucking way! I'd smash the shit out of you." And like got real alpha. I was like, afterwards, I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, still a psycho. Good one, Steve. You do you." But yeah, I was like, you know how much better at disc golf you are than me? Yeah, it's the other way when it comes to tag. I will destroy you, and then I'll go to your family's house and I'll destroy them. And then...
Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. But yeah, what's do you guys have any interesting anecdotes from the weekend, or was it the weekend?
No, it was middle of the fucking week.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out what days you actually played.
It was Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay. And honestly, that's just because like getting there midweek, flights were cheapest.
Yeah.
Because some of the SAC people were getting flights for, you know, like $58 or something like that.
Holy
now,
shit.
They did have to fly on a somewhat suspect airline, but that aside, you know, it cost me considerably more than $56, but it was money that I did have to spare that didn't come out of the Auckland budget. Don't worry, Steve. But it was just good to get away for a few days after the holidays, because having my time off from school is great. But let's be honest, sometimes the holidays with the relatives are not exactly a stress-free environment. So you don't get quite as much of a decompress, and didn't have like that big kind of push to do something before getting back into the grind for work. That just kind of, self-care routine.
Yeah.
And technically speaking, Tuesday and Wednesday were the first 2 days of the semester when I'm tacitly at work, but I work remotely, so that's great. I could answer my emails in the morning and make my posts and then go play laser tag at night. And boy, that's made it a lot smoother transition to getting back into work mode for me now that I've had a little bit of decompress time.
That's good.
Before I say anything else about Loveland, I do want to quickly, thank the people who really helped make it possible. Sergeant Tucker for organizing a ton of the stuff and, keeping track of who was going in and out of games, making sure everybody had enough games. Talking to people about getting the trip organized, to John Calkins for opening for us on the second day, since technically they were closed for weather conditions, which is another story we'll get into here momentarily. To Luke for all the organizational stuff that he does and all of the filming. And I can't wait to see some of the footage that came out of that event, because there was just a ton of people wearing the GoPros. Awesome. There were people taking videos in maze with digital cameras, with phones, all kinds of stuff, and just really interesting stuff to catch. I actually got a chance to record one video with my phone just in a certain location, and just thinking about like all the different things that you have to cover, and thinking about it like as a camera person. I don't really have experience as a camera person or anything like that, but like, oh yeah, it's really interesting to try to capitalize on what's going on at this angle and trying to pay attention to different things at once when all you have is your phone. So it's got to be a ton of work making those videos. So thank you so much, Luke. And then obviously thank you to Jeff for letting us rent out the location essentially for 9 to midnight every night, and for really cheap too. So thank you to all you Loveland guys for being such great hosts.
Thank you. Thanks, Loveland Durs. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm sure
check
we'll,
out that channel.
I'm sure we will.
That channel. Whichever direction the channel's in.
Both for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we'll probably end up watching some of that footage for content because we're good like that. We'll just take your content and say it's ours.
Well, actually, I actually had a chat with Luke about that, and he's always super stoked when we are using like his content on our channel to create more content, and trying to help bridge that SM5 learning curve in any way possible. And I feel like his videos definitely go a long way to helping with that, in terms of you can actually give show people an actual, it's like here's the thing in motion, here are things that are happening, here are things that you can actually look at and review and think about, besides being just inside the pressure cooker of a game when you're getting told by multiple different people to do multiple different things,
hopefully
politely-ish,
with no touching. Fucking
no
touches.
Don't make us get the sign.
Yeah, no touching. Yeah. It's. I really wish that we had all of this. So all of the no buddies, no shoes, all of the content stuff. I wish we had from the get go, from when I started playing. But the technology really wasn't there.
Not really.
But I think the face of the wider community might be a lot different had we had all this stuff from the outset. No pencils. Right, you were about to kick off into some fables, I believe. Some tales.
Well, we had one particularly crazy game, which I apologize, I can't remember off the top of my head if this was a pure matchmaker one, but what we also did a number of games, and this is something at any of your home sites you might like to try, is using the matchmaker but keeping fixed teams. So divide up the teams that you think are even, but then let the matchmakers from the positions and stuff. So I can't remember if this was pure matchmaker or it was teams that were broken and then matchmaker, but
I don't remember it either.
So all these things happen in one game. So first thing, red team loses one of their scouts, Strickfa, lost him early. So now they're playing 5-on-6. So tough break for red. But then red team succeeds in a nuke over nuke scenario. Both Disco and Autumn launch the nukes at the same time. The reason this was really crazy with the nuke over nuke situation is that both medics weren't exactly 3 lives. So that killed out. Yeah. So that killed out the green medic Loki. So red was down a scout, but now green's down the medic, and the other medic still has 3 lives left because that nuke didn't go off. So Cody, who was playing the red medic, who didn't get killed at, he died a little after, but they had, I think, another solid minute or so to get a few extra lives. So he died, and that was kind of a turnaround. I was like, okay, well, now green has a chance to come back. But almost at the same time, the green ammo, who was Caleb, also died. And green commander also has under 10 shots remaining. So I'm pretty sure that was Autumn. So she was down to I don't remember how many lives she had, but was down to only 10 shots and was not great. It was under 10 shots. I don't remember exactly how many it was. So then it looks like red's going to take control because, okay, green commander's going to run out of shots. They don't have an ammo. They don't have a medic anymore. This is probably in the mop-up phase. So Disco, who's playing the red commander, gets to 20 specials. Gonna possibly nuke out. Autumn's down to 5 lives. The enemy heavy, who was Tucker, and the enemy scout was Kadama. They were both down to 3. The nuke would have taken them out. Disco activates the nuke. And then Tucker runs around the corner and cancels it, saving all of their lives.
Holy crap.
Tucker and Kadama got killed out right around just under the 60-second mark. But Autumn, she's still alive. She has 0 shots. Only got a couple of lives left. It's sub 40 seconds. She manages to run up the clock with 1 life and their team wins the game.
Wow.
I mean, any one of those things I would have considered to be like a noteworthy kind of funny thing that
like a
happened
game
in the game,
swing.
but like they all happened in one game.
That's awesome.
It was crazy.
And this was a game so both DK and I were watching this from the lobby, and we're standing next to each other. And as Disco gets that nuke, and we're like, oh yeah, okay. And I'm kind of like, I'm gonna laugh my ass off if Tucker cancels this nuke.
Boom.
Boom. There you go.
2 seconds later, Tucker cancels the nuke, and yes, I did indeed laugh my ass off, because it was like it was just like how, because yeah, at that point, like Tucker canceling that nuke was literally just kind of like the icing on the cake of just how many ridiculously dumb things had happened that game. And I mean dumb in that, like, what? Like, just all these things that you would not have expected to happen within a single 15-minute game. You're like, what?
That's so awesome.
So
Okay.
It's still in the Twitch log there somewhere. If you log on to the Loveland SM5 Twitch page, I put up the link to LF stats, but obviously that's not a video of the game. So it's the scoreboard stuff is still up. I don't know if anybody's run the GoPro footage of that game. If Luke's going to do a video on that one, I can't remember off the top of my head because it was just a crazy time. But that was just one of the craziest games I'd ever seen of just the real seesaw. It was very entertaining from a perspective, from a spectator's point of view.
Well, and yeah, I mean, and anytime you've got 2 nuke cancels in one game, and it was and there were a higher than normal amount of nuke cancels those 2 days, and there were like 2 nuke over nuke cancels, one of which was mine getting canceled, which was really fucking irritating, but that's neither here nor there. But then I also canceled a nuke as a medic, so that was fun also. So
yeah,
swings and roundabouts.
That was badass.
That was it was funny how frustrated that made Calkins when that happened. But,
Especially since I'm running back panicking. I'm just like, they're nuking, fan backtrack. You're like, nope, I canceled it. Sitting there with a shit-eating grin on his face. I was like, what?
It's like, yeah, he was trying to duck into big box, and I shot him from the red ramp because he didn't get down far enough, because he only had 1 hit point left.
Come on, Calkins, how do you not get down far enough?
Yeah,
you're one of the short boys. You're one of the short boys. We're already halfway under the wall anyway.
That's an interesting score sheet.
Yeah, the score sheet doesn't really do it justice, but if you're looking, like, if you want to fast forward through the Twitch stream, you can just find, when that combo of players comes up.
Ooh, solid ammo game by Odin. 5.5.
Yeah, no, but overall, like, there were some really good games in those 2 days, and it was also like, I mean, they're like the Loveland B team got a chance to play games as a unit against not Loveland A, which is it's always nice for a B team to test themselves against people that aren't their home site people, and I mean, did they get wrecked? Okay, yes, they did. Having said that, they were definitely showing improvement in amidst all of that. It's not like they were getting beat and then regressing. They were getting beat and then taking, learning from the games where they'd gotten beat, and people watching the game say, hey, maybe try this, maybe try that, and trying to incorporate the additional advice into their subsequent games. So that was really cool to see. It was very, it's always nice when newer players who are actively trying to improve and are actively listening and trying to implement the things that you're saying, hey, maybe try this instead of that, or in addition to that.
Because they cared. They really do want to get better, and that's really awesome to see. So they want to figure out, well, if this isn't working and we're losing this game, let's figure out why. That's the kind of review you should be doing.
So yeah, no, yeah, it was good fun to watch them improve. Like, and maybe they have, yeah, they probably have a slightly different perspective on it because yes, they did keep getting beat, and that, yes, that did keep happening.
Yeah,
but
I know that's not fun.
No, I mean we've all been there on teams that are just getting wrecked, and we're like, come on, really?
Yeah. But a loss is only a defeat if you don't learn from it.
Exactly. And it really did feel like that they were learning, because their early game stuff started getting better with like their initial pushes. Their recoveries started getting a bit better after getting repulsed back. Still some work to go, but
yeah, because I'll tell you, if you don't have your opening stuff down and you're trying to play against Loveland A, it can go bad real fast.
Yeah.
Because we got an opportunity. Dan and I were fortunate enough to get an opportunity to play together on a team of the heavy hitters against the Loveland A team. And yeah, that was some good, really high level lasers. And we lost 3 of the 4 games we played against them. But the very last game that I think we both played, we did manage to take a game there, led by the fearless Caleb, who managed to get over a calf injury he sustained 5 minutes into the first game of the trip, and he barely played at all on night 1. I felt so bad for him because he had driven Dallin and Sadie out like 10 hours from Cedar City and St. George to come out and play, and he hurt himself, pretty badly. He pulled his calf pretty good about 5 minutes into the first game. They had to stop the game. He came out. He played a handful of games on day 1. He started getting back into it on day 2, but then he was ready to go that last game and really gave us the kind of last push to win and raise our spirits a little bit. It's like, okay, yeah, that was good. That was a good game. But those were really fun high level games. So I really thank both of the Loveland A and B, even though there's not a immediate US Nats coming up, but what you guys are forming for your A and B teams.
Yeah, there might be a Nats coming up.
I said US Nats.
There's no such thing as a US Nats. Fucking hell. Caleb's been.
Hey, I would love to see both Loveland teams come out to Auckland, but
so
I'm not sure that that's in the cards.
Motherfuckers. I don't even know if we're getting a full Loveland team coming out.
I don't know either, because I know us West Coast folk are looking at creating a kind of hybrid team there, since we can't have enough people from any one site, but we can at least kind of keep it regionally focused and people who play together on a little bit more regular basis. Hopefully add some cohesion, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully. Fucking useless. I'm gonna be so crotchety all the way out to Nets, and then I'm gonna be real crotchety after Nets too, depending on how things go.
Don't be crotchety after Nets. We're gonna have a good time.
No, I can't wait. So not directly after Nets. Directly after Nets is gonna be friggin' sweet. I'm very much looking forward to that. It's gonna be cool. Anything else of note kind of happened?
I mean, massive snowstorm. That was fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what else laser tag related, but yeah. One reason I was a little skeptical about trying to get it out to Denver in the middle of January is the weather can be unpredictable and rather brutal. There was a warning from the National Weather Service about 2 days before we went that there was going to be heavy snowfall on Tuesday night. So basically the first night that we were going to be there. Now, fortunately for all of us involved, the snow did not start until after our planes had landed. So there were no flight delays or any of those other nightmare scenarios. Managed to get our cars on time. Fan and I were both driving SUVs of a sort. I, of course, had 5 people in my car. Fan had 0, but hey, welcome to America.
Hey, to be fair on mine, I did not reserve an SUV to start with.
But aren't you glad that you had it after you got it?
Yeah, no, but I mean, seriously, I had reserved just a standard sized vehicle because, yeah, I'm one person. Like, just give me a car, we're good. And then I get to Enterprise, and first off, I'm glad that I had like the ready pass thing to let me bypass
Holy
line
shit,
because
yeah.
the line was like
no joke.
the line was like 20, 25 people deep to get to a counter when I got there. I'm like, cool. I just walk up to the person like, multi-pass. And she's like, yep, cool. And we start walking out. She's like, hey, so would you be okay with maybe getting a bigger vehicle instead of the standard car? Like, we have a lot of reservations for those. We're really short on them, but we don't have many of the 7-seater SUVs rented. So do you just want to, like, do you think you'd be okay taking a Yukon? And I'm looking at this vehicle. I'm like, this is fucking dumb. And it's like and of course it'd be the same price as the the standard car that you rented. I'm like, well, yes, because yes. And like
I'm aware
like,
of how free upgrades work.
I'm aware of how like like it's, I mean, within Enterprise system, this is like literally like a 2 or 3 tier upgrade. Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. I'm comfortable in driving things, and I'm not doing a ton of driving, so whatever. But yeah, the fact that I mean, what was that vehicle extraordinarily dumb for just one person? Yes. Let's be very, very clear about that. It was really fucking dumb. However, was I glad to have it, considering that it did have like a full like snow ice mode in it? Sure. It was helpful.
Yeah, I had to nickname ours the snowplow, because although Loveland City Services was really great about clearing the main roads in town and stuff like that, it didn't filter down to the little residential street that my Airbnb was on, which was definitely quite the snowfield. But just driving the thing, just here comes the snowplow.
What like how much snow actually came through?
Yes.
About a foot. So what would that be, about like 28 centimeters, something like that?
So, yay.
30 centimeters.
Yay.
About. Yeah. It was. I mean, it was a decent amount, and and I mean, now the timing of it, like you said, like the timing of when the snow hit could not have worked out any better, because literally it started snowing, I want to say about like 5 or 6, between like 5 and 6 p.m. local. Okay, yeah, everybody is already there and already at lasers playing. Fine, cool. There's no delays there. And then it snowed all the way up until about I think the last kind of snow showers like trailed off like 3 or 4 p.m. the next day.
Well, okay, we're gonna go play anyway.
Yeah, so fine. And then the Wednesday night, Thursday morning for the drive back, it was just really fucking cold and clear.
Yeah. Emphasis on cold. It was fucking cold.
Yeah, it was at the point that I was leaving the hotel. It was about like 15 Fahrenheit. So what's that, like -8 or 9 C?
Oh, yeah, because I had my phone out that it was doing the breakdown. I think it was 8 degrees or negative
that's okay,
8 Celsius
like,
when we left.
Without wind chill, that's okay. Without wind chill and rain,
and there wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot of wind chill. It actually it didn't feel, being out in it for 5 minutes while you're just getting in and out of the car and stuff like that. It didn't really feel that much colder than like when we had all those storms in Northern California not that long ago, and it was much warmer than that, but the wind was constantly on you. It didn't feel a lot colder than that.
What do the locals like? Are they like reckless as when they drive in the snow?
Some of them, yeah.
Ugh, stupid locals.
I was grateful that basically our Airbnb was in a neighborhood that was just adjacent to lasers. I basically just had to go up the road through a couple little roundabouts, and we were just on a nice little quiet residential street where there was not much going on.
And that were all sort of like main avs and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the hotel that I was staying at was literally like just over 3 kilometers from the site as well, and it was literally like go down one main street, turn on another main street. Oh, okay, there's the hotel, and then the parking for it was in a parking garage. So like I didn't have to. It's not like the car was getting snowed on the whole night.
Surprised your tank could fit in a parking structure.
So I did actually. So I do think that they actually deliberately made this parking structure with slightly higher clearances than normal, just because of where it is. So that was fun. I did have going to actual like laser stuff. My fucking right shoe blew out like 2 minutes in my first game. Not even 2 minutes, like literally. Yeah, my shoe.
As in you ran out of your shoe?
Yeah, as in I ran up the green ramp up to the up into the chamber, the main resupply area, and planted to cut back to go, and like just felt my foot just slide as it popped out of my shoe, like it just straight up like tore. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, you've got to be like not even a minute into my first game, and this is what's happening. And somebody, I can't remember who was on the other team, like, Kim was like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine, just my shoe's fucking broken. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go away and you can. They're like, cool, and duck into the chamber, like, okay, we'll go. But yeah, so I got out of the game looking like, well, can't play on that. So I had to go to Walmart and buy
the infamous Walmart, Steve.
Yeah, the infamous Walmart to buy a cheap pair of shoes to be able to play.
The one that
Odin says Sadie tore her shoe too. Okay, well, I'm glad that I wasn't the only one that had that particular bullshit happen to.
It's a shame that Traj wasn't there to buy everyone new shoes. Who was it that every time we go to the I'm pretty sure it was Dan. Every time we go to the Walmart, you park at the furthest car park away, and we had to like hitchhike to get to the front door.
So yes, I did that again because I was driving a much larger vehicle than I'm used to driving. But that was like I got there, and when I went in, it wasn't snowing too bad. By the time I got out, it was like heavy,
oh shit,
massive, and I'm like, oh, this is
the greeter's cool. Like, take this. They give you a lantern and like a cloak to pull over.
Pretty much. But then like on that return drive, like turning into the parking lot for lasers from the main street, like I was not going fast because it's like, okay, it's snowy, it's icy. I still on the turn started sliding. I'm like,
shit.
I'm like, this is a physics problem that I don't like.
Even in like a big vehicle like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Physics doesn't care about your silly little problems.
I didn't slide at all. There were a couple of times where I lost a little bit of traction, but it was just, it's heavy enough that it was able to right itself.
Yeah.
So, it's no joke. But, snow is a fun novelty for people from Northern California like myself. Don't really know how to handle it. And I have stories to tell you about that too, because you want to hear about DK's dumbass and trying to deal with snow as a non-native.
Always.
Fuck yeah.
So when we get back the first night after playing laser tag, pull into the driveway because I don't have the code for the garage at the house that we're staying at. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, pros and cons. If I leave the car out here, the snow will just accumulate on top of it and it won't like get on the driveway as much. So it'll be easier to just back out in the morning, but then there will be snow all over the car. Like, or I could go in the house, open up the garage, then pull a car in which case it won't get snowed on and it won't be iced over at night. But that means that the driveway is going to be loaded with snow in the morning. Like, that's fine. I'll do that. So mistake number one, I go to the garage. I'm like, oh God, walking through that snow is already bad. I don't want to get my shoes and socks all wet like that. And my shoes are still going to be soaked for tomorrow. I'm going to be walking around wet shoes. I really don't want that. It's only a few feet to go out there. I'll just run out my bare feet, get in the car, and then drive in the garage.
You fucking moron.
Literally the top 10 stupidest things I've ever done.
You walked out in the snow in your bare feet to the car.
People are like, what's with all the icy blood in the driveway?
Like, you ironically, my feet literally felt like they were on fire.
Oh yeah,
like, yes. Like, it was so much colder than I thought. It was terrible.
For someone who is so fucking smart, you are so fucking stupid.
So stupid.
Hashtag California problems. That's so funny.
So then I get back into the house and I'm like tiptoeing on my injured ass feet. Like just trying to drag him on my carpet. I'm like, oh my god, oh my feet are so cold. I'm already imagining like there's gonna be frostbitten and my toes are gonna fall off in the morning, kinds of shit. Fortunately, I warmed back up pretty quickly. Like, okay, all right, that's not too bad. I woke up randomly at like 6 in the morning, and we got in after midnight. I did not get very much sleep. It wasn't a great situation. I woke up a little after 6, just kind of looked out the window to see how the snow was. The snow had actually stopped middle of the night. It looked very pretty on the street. I took a picture of it and stuff like that. But I took a quick look down at the driveway, and I'm like, huh, yeah, there's some snow there. But it looks like it didn't accumulate too much. Probably I'll be able to back out in the morning. That's not going to be that big of a deal. So close the shades, go back to sleep for another couple hours. Wake up, open the window. It's fucking snowing all over the place. I look down. I can't even see the driveway. I can't see the sidewalk. And I was like, well, fuck. I don't know how I'm going to do my coffee run. I'm going to have to probably dig out the driveway a little bit. This is Colorado. It's fine. They'll have a shovel in the garage. This will be fun. I'm in California. I'm going to go out and do some snow shoveling. This will be just a fun little experience. I'll get my blood moving. I'm sure I'll warm up. So this time, at least, I made sure to, bundle up. Had my shoes on this time.
Good. That's a good start.
And some gloves.
Also,
my beanie, my Resupply beanie, like Than is wearing right now, and a hoodie and all kinds of stuff to keep the snow off. So I go out there, start looking around the garage. I'm like, huh, weird. I don't see a shovel. I'm like, well, at least there's a dustpan. Well, I'll try the dustpan. Well, I'll tell you, a driveway suddenly gets a lot bigger when all you have is a dustpan to start shoveling stuff out. So I walk out, and here is a stupid Californian just bending over constantly, taking a little thing of dustpan in the snow, dumping it into a pile, having to walk back and forth up and down the driveway, stuff like that. Until, very nicely, next door neighbor to the Airbnb looks over and is like, hey man, do you need to borrow a snow shovel? And I was like, oh, thank God, that would be great. But I can only imagine that he had been like filming on his phone for 5 minutes to upload to YouTube, being like, look at this fucking dumbass Californian trying to shovel the drive with a dustpan.
Standing in his doorway drinking his coffee.
Like, this is some good entertainment right there.
That's so funny, man. I can't believe.
But I finished with the snow shovel, and stuff like that. Go back out and managed to go do a coffee run. Autumn and I go get some food provisions, and I get some coffee finally. Now that I, of course, got up and took a hot shower because it was cold, and then I immediately go out, shovel the drive, and now I'm just a complete sweating mess after trying to just dig out this one driveway. And I'm like, God damn, how do people do this every winter? Fuck snow. This is awful. No wonder they're so strong in the Midwest. And the only other part of that little story was I'm just like, well, I don't want to get the pants that I'm going to wear to laser tag later. I don't want to get those wet. I'll just go out in my pajama pants instead. So I'm out there shoveling the snow, shoveling the drive in my fucking pajama pants. As actually snowing, have like a snowflake just go right down my butt crack, and woo, that was refreshing.
Neighbor's like, there's a weird homeless dude out there with a dustpan trying to like dig out that driveway.
The second night too, it was so cold that after I wanted to take my shower after laser tag, the water wasn't getting much better than like lukewarm. And I was like, oh, this kind of sucks. I wanted a nice hot shower. But it wasn't a cold shower or anything like that. I'm like, so we're getting hot water, just not all that much. And I'm talking about this afterward. I land, and Erica picks me up at the airport, and I'm telling all these stories about the Airbnb, and I'm like, yeah, it was a really nice place. It was comfortable. It was really easy to check in. They were totally chill. Didn't have a whole bunch of like checkout guidelines or things like that. But they didn't have a snow shovel. We kind of ran out of hot water second night, and she's like, "Hun, that does not sound like a good Airbnb. What are you talking about? You didn't have hot water. They didn't have a snow shovel. You had to use a fucking dustpan to shovel the drive. That's a terrible Airbnb." Like, all right, fair, but it wasn't that expensive either.
So basically, you got exactly what you paid for in that case.
More or less. I don't want to throw shade at those Airbnb people, but it was otherwise a perfectly nice place. But I don't know what else happened there.
It's so funny, like, for anyone who's ever picked up snow with their bare hands, like people who've never been in snow, they're like, oh, I want to go make snowballs, and they jump out and they play in the snow for about 7 minutes, and they're like, oh, this hurts real bad. For you to jump out, take your shoes and socks off, and then go walk through the snow. Holy shit, that's so funny.
The hobbits made it look so easy at the Casa Carabas.
That's brilliant. Did you have any shenanigans, Stan, or were you smart on your trip?
Yeah, I didn't really have all that many shenanigans because I'm old and boring, as we all know. I mean, really, it was, you know, and ending up in a fucking 7-seater SUV and blowing my shoe out on the first game were kind of the extent of the excitement,
So
as it were.
I took my shoe off and then went walking in the snow.
Yeah, but no, it was really good to, you know, play again after almost a year, because the last time I played was literally West Coast last year. And it also dawned on me that, and part of the reason that I did this trip was the last time that I had any just like basically pure relaxing time off was basically around my birthday last year. Like every other set of time off that I had since then was, you know, I mean, yes, I was doing, you know, fun stuff on various other trips, but it was always purpose. You know, the you know, trips to Portland, I was figuring out, you know, a place to live, time off from moving, time off to, you know, move cross country and then move into this house. So like everything has been time off with purpose, as opposed to time off to just relax. So it was nice to have a trip that was purely yep, I'm just gonna go relax, play some lasers, figure out if I can still play this fucking game. And the
answer is yes.
The answer is yes. I mean, there's definitely still some blows to my ego around, like, oh yep, no, I can't do there's certain things that I just can't do game wise anymore. But you know, it was nice to be able to, you know, play with DK's team for their Nats practice and be able to fill in on that, and, you know, feel like, oh yeah, no, I can still do this at this level. It was nice to be able to, you know, give newer players feedback about things and listen and watch them actually take it and apply it, and, you know, get better. So that was nice. And obviously, I mean, it was good to see people in person again. Like, you know, for you know, and I know I've said this before, but for as much as I don't like people, I do apparently need a certain amount of people in my life. And, you know, being able to, you know, see people that I do genuinely love and care about, it was nice. It was a good time.
Well, that all bloody sounds pretty pleasant.
Yeah, last story, I guess, would be just all of the kind of weird crossover sliding doors moments at the Denver airport on the way back.
Oh god.
Because basically, like, Fan and I had agreed we're going to try to leave town about the same time to get back, because TSA apparently was having a labor shortage that was going to make wait times even bigger at the Denver airport, which I know both of you know it can be pretty significant. That airport can get pretty crazy.
Right.
So first, I drive back, of course, with the other Sacramento people in my car, but they're flying on a different airline. So when we get back to the rental car place, we end up taking different shuttles to go to supposedly the different branches of the Denver airport. Lo and behold, I'm walking through security. Who do I see in the opposite line? But the other Sacramento people walking toward me on the opposite kind of. I'm like, why did they send us in 2 different shuttles? We ended up in the same fucking line. Maybe I don't know why I went to the wrong place. I went to the wrong place. Who knows?
So
but
dumb.
then I'm texting Than the whole time, just like, okay, well, were you right behind me? He's like, oh yeah, I just got through TSA, and then I hadn't seen him there. He had been like 5 minutes behind me getting to Enterprise, so I didn't run into him there. It's like, well, my flight's in A terminal and yours in B, so if I don't see you, just take care, buddy. Then I look back at my phone. Oh, no, they changed my flight. Now I'm going to be in the B terminal. Oh, that's where Than's going to be. Okay, well, I'm going to head over there. Hey, Than, what are you doing? We ended up getting through security with plenty of time. So, like, you want to go grab a bite to eat? Eventually met up and did that. We're walking toward Than's gate because he's going to fly out first. I'm supposed to be, like, 2 gates away from him, just down the hall. And then we look over, like, why does it say Boise? I think it says Sacramento. Or I don't remember what town it was. But it was like
Montrose. It was Montrose.
That's what it was.
Because it was so left field. It's like, that's not right. And then yeah, the confusion of, okay, what the fuck.
So we look at the board. Guess where they've sent me? Back to the A terminal. And plus, like, Than's flight was well down the B terminal. So we walked probably a good like kilometer down there, and he was boarding like 20 minutes before my flight. And if you're at the Denver airport, you have to get to a whole different terminal. So I'm like hoofing it to get back to the other B terminal. You take that stupid little underground train to go to the other place. And you're like, oh my God, I had plenty of time. It's like I was in the first boarding group or anything, but just the stress of not being where I was supposed to be in the airport. And I'm like, if these fuckers change my gate again by the time I get there, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because I'm getting tired at this point. The altitude, just like walking
So
through the airport, you're like, whew, okay.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Like, definitely, like the first couple of games on the first night, and actually even some of the games the second night, like I would do, some short sprints as I do when I'm moving place to place on things. And there were definitely a couple times where I would, get to end state and be like, "Oh, I'm a little lightheaded. That's oxygen. Yes, let's just kind of stop for a second and let that kind of recover."
And the fog machine. What did they put in that fog machine? Broken glass? Jesus Christ! It feels like my throat's bleeding when I come out of a game after that thing.
It was like, oh, we're playing that game. They used to, the one in Auckland Arena used to be really bad.
Yeah,
they just sit there like for like 3 games in a row, non-stop. Plenty of ambience though, so if you're looking for some ambience, it's in the maze. You'll love it. Man, I hate walking around the airport. It's just the worst. It's so shit. Goodness me. Actually, I ran into a lot of people don't know, but way back when there was a guy, his name was Chicken, used to play out of Auckland Laserforce, and funnily enough, I ran into him in Palmerston North Airport, which is a very tiny regional airport for anyone that's unawares, and he was on the same flight as me going back to Auckland, which is crack up because he currently lives in Europe. He lives in Amsterdam. He just happened to be in Palmerston North Airport on his way back to Auckland. So we had a good catch up. I was like, bro, you should come play some lasers. He's like, we're going to be out and about. Can't do it. But it was very nice to see him. Blast from the past. I sent it through to the Auckland Laserforce chat group as well, and most of the people in there were like, who? What the fuck are you talking about?
What's a chicken?
What? Yeah. Laserforce chicken. Well, it sounds like you guys had a bloody great couple of days. Playing some really excellent Space Marines. Catching up with some people that you haven't got to see for a little while. So I'm real happy for you guys. Not jealous at all. Real stoked for you.
You have a site.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Be nice to play there once in a while.
Okay,
they're not back from holiday yet.
Yeah, that's not a DK or me problem.
Our problems are much bigger.
Yeah. They've just come back from holiday, so we hopefully will have our first members night of the year next week, or this coming week.
Auckland people, get your shit together. You have a site. You should go play.
I wholeheartedly endorse your message. I also ran into the old laserforce owner Kev at the Auckland airport on the way to Palmerston North. It was so strange. It was funny because he was wearing a mask. He was wearing a mask in the airport, and
That's fair. He's old.
He was in line at McDonald's, and I saw him, and I was like, I think that's Kev. And then I heard him speak, and I was like, that's definitely Kev. So he placed his order, and I was like, Kev, and he looked around. I was like, oh, Steve from Lasers. And he's like, oh, g'day, mate. You've got a sharp eye. I was like, I actually recognize your voice, you gruff sounding motherfucker.
These are the things that happen when you live in a country that only has 800 people.
Yeah, well, when internationals comes, our population will double. So I can't wait. It's gonna be excellent. I'm stoked that you guys got to have a great week, filled with great laser tag. I can't wait to see the footage that comes out from it. We'll probably do a relatively deep dive into some of those videos on the pod, because why the bloody hell not? Wherever you currently are, if you've got a laser tag site, get amongst it. Go out and play some tag. If you're part of the community, go out and start training for one of the competitions that are coming up this year, specifically for the internationals. You better be there, or I'll kill you. But
that doesn't seem like a great incentive.
Taking the real carrot and stick approach here on the resupply.
That's right. Yeah, you'll have a fun time, and if you don't come, you'll definitely not have a fun time.
I'll drop you onto the snow without your shoes.
Can't wait for them to use this podcast as some sort of evidence in a future court case. You're not training just to show up with a tournament of 4 people. There'll be more than 4 people there. But I'm more concerned. I think we've got a good turnout from Australasia. I'm more concerned about the turnout from America. At this point, we are due to have a very good showing from the States turn up. So hopefully we get some people out. True.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't interrupt me.
He does that. Sorry.
It's all good. We'll be back into regular scheduled content over the next week. Hopefully, I've been a bit down and out this week. I was hoping to get back into it, but hopefully next week we'll be back into general shenanigans. More regular podcasts for the next couple of weeks, because I think the 3 of us should have a bit of time to do that, but we'll see how we go.
At least until Loveland duos.
Yeah, at least until then. I'm gonna endeavor to update the Spotify back catalog this week. I've almost up to date with the YouTube stuff, so if you want to catch any past episodes, head to our YouTube, youtube.com/@the-resupply. We're on Spotify as well, but Spotify, whatever. But for this week, I've been Guy Next Door.
I've been Frozen Balls DK.
And I've been Van.
Always remember to wear shoes in the snow, kids. We will see you all next week. Ka kite.
I've been throwing daggers in the walking my own path. Gave up all my mysteries just to get a laugh. You keep me hanging on so tight. Sometimes I